think I see a lot of Capricorns falling into the trap of, if I make myself happy financially, I'll be happy in the rest of my life. But that's not how it works. You have to live. Life is about ups and downs. You know, one year you're very successful, the next year you have nothing, you know. Before COVID, I had a successful business. I had to start all over again. I was selling tarot cards. I was selling... Hi everyone, welcome back to No Light Tarot. My name is Holly, so grateful to have you all. I am doing these weekly 2025 prediction videos. They have been doing so well, so thank you for the support. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching. If it's your first time, please make sure you subscribe. By the end of the video, I have a whole long video. I have 5 people in this video, and I will continue it until I'd say the end of January. These have been so fun to make. If you want to become a member, please check out the memberships. I have 2, one where you learn tarot and the other one where you get exclusive videos. This week I'm doing exclusively what happened to Liam Payne, so check that out. And yeah, so let's get right into the video. If you don't like to listen to personal stories in these videos, please find another tarot reader. I'm not going to hear, oh, please don't talk about astrology, oh, please don't talk about personal life. Find somebody else. I'm not the reader for you, and that is okay. Don't waste your time. Don't waste my time. Okay, so we're going to start with Keanu Reeves' 2025 prediction. I pulled up career, love, and well-being. I'm using Pix de Soleil Tarot deck. I love all my tarot decks. It's so beautiful. It's one so simple, and I like the white background. Okay, so career, being the Temperance. So I see here bringing balance. I did say before that I saw him producing some movies. I see something like black and white. I see perhaps a commercial for cologne. That's very sultry. I think it could be Calvin Klein, something like that, because it kind of reminds me of the 90s, early 2000 Calvin Klein style. It's very simple, you know. I see him out in some kind of fields where he's walking and he's speaking about the product, or just speaking something inspirational to make people buy, because that's what advertisements are. But I see him being very balanced, and he seems to me, you know, I have said this before, I knew 2 people that worked with him and said only great things about him. Said that he was humble, said that he was kind, said a lot of good things about him, so I give him that. And he seems to me like he's finding his way. You know, it takes a lot of time, especially when you are in Hollywood, I'm sure. It takes a lot of time to find yourself and to really stand true to who you are. And I see that happening with him, is that people have told him, you need to do this, you need to do that, and because he's a sensitive soul, I can see that very strongly. He has agreed with them. But you can only agree with people for so long before you feel like you are you're basically being eaten alive. So I'm seeing here he's trying to kind of walk away from Hollywood, and 2025 will be the year of him balancing out his personal life and his professional life, because I strongly believe people are coming on too harsh about his girlfriend. They're not really giving her a chance, Alexandra Grant. As fans, if you love somebody, people are probably going to buy something hateful in the comment section about this, but I don't care. If you love somebody, love them enough to let them be their true selves, and love them enough to let them love who they want to love. You know, I don't know why people feel like they have an authoritative figure over someone because you're their fan. They still have a right to love who they want to love. So just keep that in mind. But I see him balancing himself out, going for hikes, and possibly playing a role where he is in romance. I see like a romance role. I'm not a big Keanu Reeves fan, so I only remember The Matrix really. But I see him playing kind of like a humble romantic interest. Seven of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. And it's going to bring back like nostalgic days of the 90s. You know, I feel like people are always trying to recreate the 90s. It was a great time for movies, especially the late 90s was a great time for movies. So with his love, the sun, I see him being very happy. Say what you want about this girlfriend. It seems like he loves her, and it seems like they make one another very happy. Despite any scandal that might have happened, you know, I really don't believe in not loving somebody because of that. And people saying she's a fraud and all that kind of stuff. I don't know the full story, but I am telling you that he is in love with her. And again, I will reiterate that if he is in love with her, he is a grown adult. He can love who he wants to love. So with Four of Swords and the Star. Okay, so I do see some trouble in paradise. I see actually some of the public pressure having an effect on their relationship. And she's going to recluse a little bit because she doesn't know how to deal with his fans, you know. I can only imagine, trust me. I can only imagine. I've dated a very famous actor, and thank goodness people didn't know it, because I can only imagine what it would be like to have his fans come after me. I can only imagine. So Ace of Pentacles and Ace of Cups. I see here that he wants to start anew with her. They might even move away somewhere to like Hawaii. He's from Hawaii, right? They might move to Hawaii and start anew. So with Two of Pentacles being his well-being, he wants to consider, I see like farming. Maybe that's why I saw the fields. I see farming. He might be starting his own brand of something. I see cotton, so it could be like a sustainable cotton, something like that. I got cotton for some reason, which is very specific. But I see him starting his own thing, own brand or something. It's a mass production. The Hangman and Three of Swords, because he wants to leave Hollywood. He's ready now to leave Hollywood. So I wish him the best. And like I said, if you're fans of somebody, just wish them well. No need to hate on who they love. In fact, that's the opposite of supporting them. The complete opposite. Okay, so let's move on to Timothee Chalamet. He is a sun in Capricorn, who's dating Kylie Jenner, allegedly. So I'm going to pull up his career, love, and well-being. Oh my gosh. Not good. So I'm using the Muse Tarot for this. I love this deck. Very beautiful. My favorite thing about decks is the art. I love the designs. And that's what really drew me back to tarot cards. So with his career being death in reverse. So I see here that he has considered leaving Hollywood. And he's considered just doing his own independent thing, living in France. Because, you know, Timothée is French. I don't know. There's different countries that were once owned or colonized by France that don't necessarily have to be France, per se. An example of that is part of Canada, Quebec, Montreal. So you don't necessarily have to have like from France direct route, but I see him moving to France, somewhere near Alsace, that area, because I see him in like baggy clothes, skiing, enjoying the winter weather, because they have fantastic winter weather up there. I'm not crazy about let me not say that. Let me not say what I'm about to say. What I was going to say. But I will tell you this. He's really going through a big change in his life. And it's almost like he just wants to break everything off and run. and start anew. Like, he wants to do French films, he wants to do independent films, indie films, things that are completely different, because he feels very pulled from his agent and so forth towards Hollywood type movies like June. Even though June was a little eccentric, it's still very Hollywood. So he wants to be his own person, and he wants to be, which is very, I wonder what the rest of his chart is, because Sun and Capricorns are usually all about making money and not really being their own person. But sometimes Saturn, which rules Capricorn, can be like that, can say, hey, I want to be my own person in my line of work. And with the Ace of Pentacles and Eight of Cups, he feels as though if he makes himself happy, that's when things are going to start to grow. If he makes himself financially happy, which is the trap of Capricorn. I see a lot of Capricorns falling into the trap of, if I make myself happy financially, I'll be happy in the rest of my life. But that's not how it works. You have to live. Life is about ups and downs. You know, one year you're very successful, the next year you have nothing, you know. Before COVID, I had a successful business. I had to start all over again. I was selling tarot cards. I was doing my tarot reading, stuff like that. And I was doing very well. But because of COVID, I had to shut things down. I had my oil business. So I had to really restart. And just because you have to restart does not make you less of a person. That's something I have to remind Sun and Capricorns, that your worth is not determined by your net worth. They can be very focused on by their status and their net worth. So it would do him a good service to separate the two. And you know what? I actually do think Europe would be better for him. Europe is not for me. I am not crazy about living in Europe. You know, it's just not my kind of culture. But if you are a superficial person like this, it would do you better to not live in the US, because the USA can be very superficial. I love living here. It's just the reality. And it can feed your superficialism and superficiality within. So it would do him better to move to a place like France. It really would. So 8 of Wands in reverse for his love is he doesn't feel motivated. There's a lot of things blocking his motivation, and especially the relationship. He doesn't feel motivated. It's almost like she's like hanging on him, and he's like, you know, yeah, whatever. You can stick around. You stick around, you don't stick around, it doesn't bother me. She's totally latching onto him, and he's like, whatever. She's annoying. She's a groupie, you know. He thinks she's a groupie, which is kind of mean about her being Kylie Jenner. So let's see if the energy is. Okay. So he's promised her. He promised her marriage, and he promised her lots of things. But he doesn't want to do it. He changed his mind about her. He promised her that she was this. I think in the beginning, like I said, I've always said this actually from the beginning of the relationship. She is way more into him than he's into her. And she has a lot at stake. You know, she wants to be with a famous guy, very famous guy, and now she got it. But it just doesn't, they don't connect. And she sees the potential. I say this all the time about Sun and Leos. Their shadow side is that they will do anything to be popular. And she's a Sun and Leo. But Capricorns don't necessarily like that. It can feed the drive and the superficiality, you know, the internal superficiality that I was talking about. But at the end of the day, he doesn't see a future with her. And he thinks he needs somebody more grounded. He needs like an earth sign type energy. So with the well-being being 6 of Cups, I see here him like dreaming. I think when he was a kid, he used to go to France. I see that. He's from New York, right? Which there is, I used to live actually near a French school on York Avenue. which is over First Avenue. I think it's 74th, and no, it's 71st and York Avenue in Upper East Side in New York. And I see him living near there. Like, he possibly went to that school, actually, which is so crazy to me. Probably went there when I still lived near there. So Six of Cups, let's see. And I see all these kids come out when I'd come home from work. So with King of Swords and Ace of Wands, I see here very strongly that he has to be honest with himself. And look, he is looking back at his life and he's saying, you know, when I was a kid, I envisioned myself in Hollywood happy, and I'm not happy. So he's going through different things that make him happy. And I think when he was a kid, he used to go visit, I see some family being in France. And when he would visit them, he was happy. And he wants to get back to that happiness. Because you see here, it's her former self, his former self. He feels like he's become a dark version of what he wanted to achieve. And he doesn't like that. So he wants to go back to innocence. And I wouldn't be surprised if he starts playing lighter roles, you know, cute roles, stuff like that. To kind of, and it's very interesting, I kind of see in him, people might find that's controversial, but a Johnny Depp type. And even though they look very different, not that different, but they look different, they have a similar energy to them. And I don't know how to explain it. But he gives me Johnny Depp energy, even though Johnny Depp is American. I think he's from Kentucky, right? Somewhere from that. But, and I suppose Timothee Chalamet is American too. He's just very Europeanized. But I see a similar energy of their roles take them. They take their roles very seriously, and it makes them kind of depressed and so forth. So I see him moving to France, and I see him breaking up with Kylie. And through that, he's going to take on lighter roles, romantic roles, indie roles, and just lighten up. He wants to lighten up and be like an innocent, younger version of himself. So I wish him luck. It's going to be quite an interesting year, 2025. So let's get into Bruno Mars. Lots of you have been asking me about Bruno Mars, saying that he was almost in debt and all that kind of stuff. So let's see. Bruno Mars is one of my favorite artists. He's phenomenally talented, insanely talented, underrated. In fact, I used to listen to Locked Out of Heaven every day. It's embarrassing how many times I used to listen to it over and over and over again. Because he's just so talented. So I'm going to pull up his career, love and well-being. I don't really know too much about him personally. Like I say, reality TV is my jam. So other stuff I don't really pay attention to. But let's see. So career, love, well-being for Bruno Mars. I'm using the Light Seers Tarot. One of my favorite decks. Okay, so not that I really know. I do have favorite decks. Because some decks I love, but I don't use as much. Okay, so let's see. So with his career being The Lovers, I see him doing like a movie type. This is what I see happening. I see it being, because I got it automatically when I was shuffling the cards. I see it being like a short film for an album coming out. And there's going to be some buzz. You know how they do when they want to promote things. They say that they're dating and so forth. So I see that happening very strongly, that apparently he'll be dating her even though he's married. It's going to be lots of scandal. But sometimes, and we've seen this happen with certain studios. In fact, quick story, it actually sort of happened to me. I don't want to tell the full story. Sort of happened to me with an actor that I was dating. A story came out about him that he was dating somebody and he wasn't dating her, and I got so livid. Because there was a picture of them together and I didn't know that they were together, but I was like, you should have just told me before I have to find out, you know. And I go through my phone and I see a picture. So I know now not to take it personally, just go to the person. But it's very dangerous with people's love lives, honestly. Very dangerous. So I see her, he's a Sun and Libra, right? Yeah. I see his wife being like a sun and Aries, fiery energy, and it's gonna upset her. But I'll get to that. I'll get to that part. But his management wants to promote this film and say that they're like behind the scenes pushing stories to the media, saying that they're dating and so forth. And he's like, what? I'm not dating her. He wants to prove that he's not female, but he's not behind the story. But his wife will think he is. But we'll get to that. So the Eight of Swords in Rebirth, Death and Rebirth, he's going to become very commercialized. Like he used to be, you know, I think Silk City, was it Silk City? Something like that. It didn't do as well as he expected it to. That's his baby. And I think what I see happening with him, which happens a lot in music, happens a lot in everything. Your management company will take you on and say, okay, do these many albums, and then do, for example, 3 albums, and your 4th album is going to be you. It's going to be what you want. We're not going to have any say in it. It's completely you, and you have complete expressionism and creativity. You have free creativity to do whatever you want. So he was promised that with the Silk City, but it didn't deliver the numbers. The one that he did with Anderson .Paak, is it called Silk City, or am I thinking of something else? I might be thinking of something else, but it's like the romantic R&B type of tunes. So because it didn't resonate in numbers, his management company wants him to go back to the Locked Out of Heaven days, to the romantic days, to the simple pop music that he was doing before. Because that management is all about numbers. Anywhere you go, management's all about numbers. And he was producing numbers until recently. So they're going to basically push him into that. And he's not going to be happy. He's very good at pretending. So he'll be like, yeah, I'm enjoying myself. But I think that might be why he was in debt. Because there's something that is within him that he hasn't addressed from his childhood about being accepted. You know, and I see that a lot with Libras, Sun and Libras. They have a thirst to be accepted. To be accepted, and, you know, I'm an Aquarius, and of course we don't really have that kind of thirst. Everybody wants to be accepted in some form or manner. But when you're desperate to be accepted, that's a different story. And it comes across that way. It comes across like he's being very desperate to be accepted by society, by norms. And because of that, he, especially with the failure of his last album, even though it was a good album, I think it was great, it didn't really resonate with a lot of his listeners, a lot of his fans. And feeling like a failure like that led him, I believe, to be very frivolous with his money and just not really have that much hope anymore. Which is very sad, but I believe he'll come out of it. I really, really hope he will. So with Ace of Wands, with this love, Ace of Wands, let's see. There's a lot of distance. You know, it's difficult to maintain marriages. They've been married for 10 years now, right? I don't really know fully. I get a decade, so it could be a little under, a little over. But the spark is gone, and she's considering filing for divorce. I wouldn't be surprised if she files for divorce this year. 5 Wands in the Emperor. He's tried to make her stay a lot. And she didn't want to leave when he was in debt because she wouldn't get anything. So she's trying to wait. She's trying to wait and see, okay, when he recoups, then he'll have something, and then she's going to file. She's being very strategic about it. She's like, okay, hold on. Let me wait for him to get his things together. Because if I leave when he's in debt, I'm going to get nothing. So, with 2 of Cups, she is the love of his life. And she can't see that right now because he's in a dark place. And I've never been married, so I'm not here to judge because everybody has their own reasoning for divorce. I'm not here to tell her she shouldn't do it. But it's just difficult. And I think that's the challenge of marriage, is that you say for good or for worse, right? And the person is going through worse and it's affecting you. So do you stay or not? You know? And she's really going to have to grapple with that idea of what is worse. What is the worst that you can stay in? And I think that is ultimately marriage, is that you have to question what is the worst. And I think sometimes people get to their worst because they are married and they believe the person will stay. But sometimes the worst is too much to move past, and I think it's getting to that point. So again, I wish him well for 2025, for all his years. It's going to be a very challenging year for him, and he's going to have to either get some form of kind of therapy, healing, and be truthful with himself. I feel like a lot of Sun and Libras are not truthful with themselves because they live life on the surface level, but it's time for him to get real with himself, be honest, have real deep honest conversations, and stop running. Okay, so let's get into Britney Spears, who just sparked outrage because people are like, she thinks she's 5. I think she was trolling people, honestly. Well, that's another. Or she was just drunk. I don't think she really thinks she's 5. I just don't know why people are so obsessed with what she says and what she does. People are, they take it way out of control. Anyway, so let's put up her career, love, and well-being. Britney Spears, 2025. Okay. So, for her career, 6 of Cups, I see her maybe doing like a child book. I see her doing children's stuff. So, you know, she feels very connected to her childhood. She does give that energy of, I missed out on childhood. Same thing with Michael Jackson. I missed out on my childhood, so I want to recreate it. So I see her possibly coming out like a child book, a coloring book, that kind of thing. Children's clothing, stuff like that, to connect to her childhood. And she might even buy her childhood house. But her work has, I think she's working very closely with a therapist, and he's telling her, you know, you really need to work to connect with your child, your inner child, which is what she's doing. I think that's probably why people are going crazy right now. Page of Cups, Page of Wands. Yeah, so she's going to start drawing, stuff like that, and selling it and making money off of it. And again, it's going to spark outrage. I just don't understand what all the outrage is about when other people are doing worse things and they constantly call her out. It's absolutely insane to me. So with her love being 7 of Cups, I see somebody coming in. It's not this recent boyfriend, but I see somebody coming in. He might be Mexican. That might have prompted her move. So let's see. So I see somebody coming in. I get the name Alex, Alejandro, something like that. Let's see. He's a fire sign too. But they'll date for a couple of years and then that's it. Ace of Wands, Strength. So, okay, he's a Leo. Or has strong Leo in his chart. Very, she likes that. She'll like him to take him on. But it will be too much for her in the long term. She won't be able to handle him. You know, that's the thing about Sagittarius. If you are so independent and somebody comes into your life and starts to tell you, don't do things like this, don't do it. And she's been earning millions since she was a minor. So it's difficult for a man to come in and tell her, do it like this, do it like that, because she doesn't want to do it like that. So with the moon being her well-being, she's going to have to let go of, you know, she's had to keep a lot of secrets. Moon is about secrets. She's going to have to let go of the secrets she's held onto, the betrayal. She's having difficulty letting go of things she's held onto for a long time. And I can see why. It's not easy. So 6 of Swords and 2 of Coins. She's going to have to start to invest in herself and in things she believes in. I'll give you an example. Like, if she wants somebody to come in and be kind to her, she needs to start being kind to herself. Stuff like that. Being an example of what she sees, you know, of what she wants to see, excuse me. And because of that, and it will energetically shift this energy into something good and prosperous. So I have Britney Spears. By the way, I use the Crystal Magic Tarot for that. And last but not least, we'll do Zendaya, right? 2025. I can never say her name right, guys. I'm so sorry. Especially this is my last video, my last reading. So I'm a little tired, but it's okay. Okay, career, love, and well-being. So, this is good. This is very good. Wow, okay. You go you, Zendaya. So, with the Hierophant for career, she is really... This is how I like to put it. Her hard work is paying off big time. Big time. And now she can look at herself and say, okay, this didn't make sense for a reason. And now she knows what will work, what won't work. And because of that, she knows herself. She knows the roles she can play. She will have another wind of this later on in her life. But for now, she went deep with different roles and it's paying off. Let's just say that. It's paying off big time because people are going to, especially with this tennis movie, there was a tennis movie she played, like called The Coach, something like that. She's going to be pivoted in that direction now, and it's really going to pay off. I see about 2 or 3 movies like that, or that require her, because people remember she was a Disney girl, and people didn't believe in her. But now she's proving to herself and to others she can do it. Queen of Cups, 7 of Cups. So she will be taking on roles that require emotions. I see one where she's going to be dating like an older guy in the movie. I don't want to give too much of the plot away, but I see that. I also see like a Pretty Woman style kind of movie. I also see like a comedy. She's going to be playing a comedy, but she's really tapped into her emotions as an actor or actress, and it's going to pay off big time. Big time. So with love, I get the Death card. I strongly feel like they have already broken up. I think they have been broken up, but they're trying to avoid any public scrutiny because the public breakup is not fun. I've never gone through it, but I don't want to go through it. So let's see when they will announce. I get October. October, time is fluid. It does move and change depending on what happens. But I get October, she's going to... 2 of Cups, King of Cups, announce she's broken up and she's actually with somebody new. I don't even think there'll be a big announcement. She'll just be seen with somebody else. And then she'll be like, okay, yeah, we broke up. We didn't want to be public. But at this moment, I'm recording this on the 5th of December. At this moment, they have, in my opinion, from what I can see from the cards and energetically, broken up. Her and Tom Holland. But they're just putting on a facade for the fans, and they don't want to really make it everybody's business. So with Queen of Swords being her well-being, she's really matured a lot. She's matured a lot, and she knows herself way more. Obviously, you know, she is 30 now, right? In your 30s, you really start to feel like a woman. You start to feel noticed. You start to feel... I wouldn't say noticed, actually. That's an incorrect word. But you start to feel solidified as an adult. And she's starting to feel that way, definitely. She's starting to tell people how she felt before. She was too quiet and timid. People used to say things about her. She wouldn't say anything back. But she's standing up for herself. And I strongly applaud it. Page of Swords and 3 of Wands. Because this new version of herself, so much good awaits. 8 of Cups. So much good awaits because now she's being true to herself. So that's what I have for you guys. It's been so fun. Please like the video. Please make sure you're subscribed. I love you all. Stay tuned for next week. I will continue to do these. I'll do 5 or 6 a video, and they've been so fun. If you want to become a member, check that out in the description below. Take care.